Welcome to Ion Franchising, where you will learn the A to Z's of franchising. So good day, everyone. I want to welcome our next guest, Mark Setterington, founder of Island Fin Poke and a very old friend of mine from Las Vegas. So excited to have Mark here. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Lance.
Well, this is going to be great. Always nice to have somebody from Vegas on the show. So Island Fin Poke was your brainchild. Created that how many years ago now?
About 4.5.
Perfect. Why don't you share with the listeners your little backstory on how this came to be?
Well, I spent 11 years in Vegas. And my last job in Vegas, I had 5 restaurants in Vegas and 5 restaurants in Southern California. So when I was at Southern California visiting my restaurants, this is all I would eat because in California, it's on every corner.
Right.
So Paul, my old partner, called me up and said after he quit his job of 20 years. So I was like, holy heck, what are we going to do? So I flew him out to LA and I took him to all the places I liked and all the places I didn't like because I figured if we were going to do it, we were going to do it right and we were going to see the good and we were going to see the bad and we were going to avoid it. So that's what we did. And on that 4.5-hour drive from LA to Vegas, this is what we came up with. So awesome. It's a mix between my love of the food and my love and respect for the Hawaiian culture from the time that I've spent out in Hawaii as well.
Absolutely. And share with everybody what poke actually is, which some people would call pokey. And you've heard it all, right? Poke.
Oh, yeah. Poke. Yep. That's normally salesmen trying to sell you something. What is this poke thing? But it's a verb and it means to slice or to cut. So it was, started long ago. And it was basically fishermen were, cutting up scraps of it. And this is what they would eat out on the boats. And
right.
In Hawaii, very traditional poke is super simple, a little sesame oil, a little soy sauce, some Maui onions and some green onions. And that's about it. And it's not like mainland poke where, we have 30 toppings. So you come in and we're set up like Chipotle and you get to pick everything that you want. Where traditional poke is you buy it by the pound and you eat it. So.
Absolutely. No, and I'm a big fan. As you know, I went to the opening of one of the Island Fin Poke locations in Vegas. I visited your locations in Orlando as well. So, in the world of franchising, we talk about, in the world, we talk about, everybody seems to talk about the why. Why do you do things? What is everybody's purpose in life? So I like to ask my guests, what is the why as to why potential franchisees would settle on Island Fin Poke? I know the answers to those questions, of course, because I'm a big fan of your brand and we've done some deals. So I'd love to hear it from your perspective as to why would they choose Island Fin Poke as, of all the thousands of brand, why Island Fin?
For me, I think it's a couple things. It's about culture and it's about lifestyle. So for me, I'm a lifetime restaurant guy and I wouldn't do anything else. And so when we started this thing, it was about lifestyle. I didn't want to buy a job or create a job. And I wanted to be able to spend time with my kids. So basically what we've created is a restaurant. We have no cooking equipment. We have no traditional restaurant infrastructure, no hoods, no fire suppression, whatever. And no matter how busy you are, it's always 2 or 3 people working, period. So we don't have to count on a ton of people. It can be me and one of my daughters, whatever. And so it's a lifestyle and it's a culture of family.
And you've now made it to how many states?
We're 8 states, and we'll still open this year in Greenwich, Connecticut, Long Island, New York, Downers Grove, Illinois, and Peachtree City, Georgia. Oh, and Salt Lake City, Utah will be probably first quarter of next year.
Yeah, you have them as far west as Salinas, California, last I checked.
I can't even keep up.
But
Good
you're also
problem.
growing, you're growing your team as well. And you know, you love to talk about your ohana. You know, this is a family, this is your tribe, so to speak. And that's, I know, a huge valuable piece in franchising. People want to feel like they belong, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely it. And we're starting to see, we are building the culture. And as we see it a lot when we send out new things on the group email and the reaction from the franchisees. And we're starting to see a lot of camaraderie, like in this whole next group of openings. You know, they're reaching out to the last two restaurants that opened and what worked and what didn't work and what really helped you build your Facebook presence, et cetera. So it's working out very well, just like we wanted it to.
I love it. I love it. I love it when a plan comes together, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's on the horizon? I mean, obviously we have you know, new store openings. What's on the horizon for the brand? You know, I know you're always working on new sauces. You have how many sauces right now that you make?
We have 10 sauces, all made, all house made. We only use premium ingredients. For instance, our marinating sauce is the base soy sauce is gluten-free Aloha shoyu, because what else would you use, right? But
Right.
as a concept, we're working on a completely new website. We're experimenting with microsites. We have an architect that works nationwide. We have a contractor now nationwide, sign company. We're doing all the things that the big guys do um, at a relatively early time in our evolution. So we're in communication with a company to start marketing the franchise offering in Latin and South America. We've
Love it.
had discussions with a company to market the franchise offering in Canada, in uh,
I have one of those for you as well.
oh, that's my guy. But the Middle East and Southeast Asia, I want to be worldwide. We've taken a very deliberate approach with our evolution. And Cliff has been he hammered me from the beginning, crawl, walk, run. And we're at the point now where it's time to start running.
Cliff is an awesome franchise developer and a good friend of mine. So, Mark, I want to thank you for being here today. And look, you know, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, I'm going to have that in the show notes so everybody knows where to find you. They can always contact me as well because I want to do some more Island Fin Poke deals for sure. So, thanks for being here. We'll do another show pretty quickly. So this is part one of a series with you down the road. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Lance.
Take care. All right. Bye bye. Well, good day, everyone. Today's guest, we have Mark Setterington, a good friend of mine from Las Vegas, like me. That's where we got to meet. I think Mark was in Vegas at least 11 years or so. He's definitely not from Vegas. In Las Vegas, a lot of people will tell you there's not really many locals. Some of my kids, possibly, a few of mine. But Mark is the founder of Island Fin Poke, an amazing restaurant franchise. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend Mark. Welcome aboard, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Lance. Thanks for having me today.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here on with us to talk about your wonderful brand, Island Fin Poke. I still remember when I visited you in Florida, in Orlando. The Winter Garden location was the first one?
Winter Springs.
Winter Springs, sorry. Yeah, Winter Springs. And Winter Springs, I had the food, a Chipotle style line, healthy ahi tuna poke, I should say, and it was amazing. All the different sauces to choose from, quick, healthy, tastes great, and I was blown away. My friend Joe, I think we have a mutual friend, Joe, that does digital marketing, brought me in there, and I was like, wait a second, I know this guy, Mark. Mark and I know each other from Vegas when I started a donut concept, and there was Mark, who's an executive of a big restaurant group in Vegas. So tell us about you. Let's talk about your backstory a little bit. Let's go deep in the history. You're from Michigan originally?
Grew up in Michigan, went to Michigan State. I have a degree in materials management, so nothing to do with restaurants.
Oh wait, isn't that a chef materials? Food
No,
materials?
purchasing, procurement. So
Got it.
when I graduated from college, everyone I interviewed with would only hire with experience. So I, I leaned on where my experience was, and it's restaurants, and I've never looked back. So every job that I've had um, has been in restaurants, and it's, you either do it because you're crazy or because you love it, and I love it. I wouldn't do anything else.
So what
So
really got you into restaurants?
first job I ever had, I was a dishwasher at Elias Brothers Big Boy, and I was a dishwasher for about 30 days, and the franchisee promoted me to line cook at 16, and I thought I was pretty cool. And I there were no work restrictions back then. My mom was like, if your grades are good, you can work as much as you want. So I studied
Exactly.
and I worked because I liked money.
I love it. I love it. So what was sort of that natural evolution for you? You worked as a line cook. You were in Michigan. When did you head to Vegas?
Oh man, I left Michigan originally when I was 32. So mama's boy didn't want to leave home, but we went out to Phoenix or to Tucson to visit my in-laws at Thanksgiving time, and came back to Michigan, and it was already cold and gray, and I'm like, we're done. And the next year we moved, and I went to work for Darden. I went to work for Bahama Breeze, and we moved 5 times in 5.5 years, and my kids felt like they were military brats. And at the end of my time with Darden, I moved to Vegas, and we were in Vegas for 11 years, and it was great. I loved it. I was the general manager for Margaritaville on the Strip. Um,
Know it well.
oh man, you want to talk about
Big
a
volume.
big volume? It was like running a small country.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you had sort of that natural progression. You worked as a grunt in the restaurant business, eyes wide open, trying to figure out what's what, and then you got some real structure in the corporate world. And then at some point there was the next stage, which is like, wait a second, I have some restaurant ideas of my own. Why don't I kind of let one of these be born? And how did that really happen with Island Fin Poke?
Well, Island Fin actually wasn't the first place I owned. I bought a bar in Queen Creek, Arizona, and failed miserably. So I only owed
Gotcha.
it for about 18 months, and then we sold it, and just a huge learning. But I think that anybody that has any kind of success doing their own thing will have a story of failure, because
Absolutely.
I don't think that you can really be successful without falling first. So, and
Yep.
I learned. And the thing was, when the Island Fin opportunity came up, I wasn't scared, and my family was super supportive. I mean, they were around for the failure, right? And my wife was like, "You want to do it? Let's go." So it's you have to be surrounded by people that believe and are supportive, and you just have to believe in yourself. But
Yep.
you know,
So you didn't get the from your wife, you didn't get the, what are you, nuts?
not one time since I started this. And I mean, I lived in Orlando for 6 or 7 months before the family moved, kind of developing and building out the first restaurant and whatnot. And Terry stayed in Vegas she was there a whole year before she moved out here. I had the girls for a while by myself, God help them. But it was it was good, but it's part of having that strong support behind you.
So where did franchising really enter the fray for you? Like when did you decide, you know what, let's franchise this thing. This is a good concept. Let's share it with others.
Well, it's funny because we weren't going to franchise. We were going to have a couple restaurants, work with our kids, golf, boat, make money, whatever. But Winter Springs just kind of took off. And once you have something that's cool and hip like that, people always start contacting you. I mean, I'm sure you've got contacted 50 times with pink pod donuts, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
so someone contacted us, reached out. We started talking, and we're like, why not? And that was another learning experience because I'm not with that development team anymore, and I learned a lot about what I wanted in a development team and what I didn't want. And the first thing that I wanted was integrity. And with my guys, with Cliff and Justin, the most important thing to them is making sure you buy something that you're going to be passionate about, whether it's Island Fin Poke or not. So
Absolutely.
I think that, obviously they love the brand and they love selling it, but they have a, they have a commitment to you as well as the buyer to get you into something that you're going to work hard to be successful at. And I can respect that.
Yeah. No, and look, it's at the end of the day, someone's investing their hard-earned money. They have to be able to feel good that they, are supported and they have the right team and they made the right decision. And it's I always tell people it's like a marriage. You can't, you got to take it seriously, no matter what. So it's been how long now? Franchise location number one started when? I mean, the original location was what year?
Original location, March 20th of 2017. So
2017, and you
July
started
10th,
franchising.
July 10th will be the 2-year anniversary of the first franchise open. And actually, Jim is going to sign his second franchise agreement today. And
Awesome.
he's going to open a second one in Northborough, Massachusetts.
I love it. I love it. Wait, I have something for you on that. There you go. It's my little golf clap for you. That was awesome. No, that's and you know what? Look, that's a sign of success when people start. You start to give birth to those multi-unit operators, right?
Yep.
So it's perfect. So everybody talks about the why in life. What is your why? Well, when you're looking for franchisees, the prospective franchisees are trying to figure out why Island Fin Poke. So give us kind of a snapshot of, why people should select you and your team.
I think that the big thing for us is we say what we mean and we mean what we say. So, for instance, we have a giant sign that hangs in the restaurant that says "No friends, just family, Ohana," and they're not just words. So we treat our team members like family.
Absolutely.
In turn, our team members treat our guests like family, and that's such an important part of our business because we don't want anything about Island Fin to be transactional. We want
Right.
it. There needs to be an emotional connection with our guests and with you, the franchisee, when you're deciding to sign a franchise agreement. Because like you said, Lance, when you're going through the process, we're dating. Once you sign that franchise agreement, you and I are married for the next 10 years. So it's important. And everybody that we partner with, you love the brand. Well, I love when you sell Island Fin. The marketing company, the agency that we signed in January, they're big fans of the brand. I want to make sure that people that we partner with have a passion for the brand as well. It's not just transactional. Is Mark paying his bills? I'll pay my bills, but I also want you to work hard for me because you see the potential that Island Fin has.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, when you look at think of your top 2 franchisees, okay? Everybody has a top group of franchisees. What are the characteristics or traits, would you say? Because, a lot of people listening are prospective. They're future franchisepreneurs. And they're listening to you thinking, oh, this guy's a cool guy. He's got a good brand. He's got happy people. But what are those traits that the top franchisees exhibit at Island Fin Poke?
A couple things. Number one, you have to want to be entrepreneurial, but you have to want to be entrepreneurial within the guardrails of the franchise, right? You buy
Absolutely.
a franchise for a reason, and it's all about you love the product and service that we sell, but you're buying the playbook, if you will. So
Right.
if we tell you, and we tell every person that comes down for a discovery day, do you want to make bowls 50 hours a week, or do you want to market your restaurant 15 hours a week? The choice is yours. Because if you're going to stay in your restaurant and make bowls 50 hours a week because you don't want to spend $9 an hour in labor, don't buy an island fin. You're going to fail. A big
Right.
part of what we do is being involved in the community, whether it's high schools or middle schools or baseball teams or football teams or whatever. We want all of our franchisees to be a part of the community that they're serving. So you have to really want to be entrepreneurial, right? But you have to do it within the framework of the franchisee.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the guardrails earlier. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we've all heard the expression, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You know, it's still a system that you have to, you know, work within that system, but nobody dictates how you interview people. I mean, that's your baby. You just want people to exhibit the standards of what an Island Fin Poke franchise looks like, right?
Yep, exactly.
Serve the food X amount of speed and X presentation, quality. Obviously, there's ways to do everything. How have procedures changed? I work with a lot of young, very young brands, and everyone's always freaked out in the beginning of franchising. Well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Well, they have great numbers. They have profitability. I mean, at some point, you know, it's like training for a marathon. If you don't start training, you're never going to get there. So how have you guys changed from franchisee number one till today?
Completely different. I'll tell you right now, when Jim goes to open his next restaurant, he's going to fall off his chair at how easy it is. We have like, you know, as soon as he signs his lease, I'll introduce him to the architect. And within 21 days, he'll have permittable plans, right? Chris will have quotes for him for his plans before permits are issued. So we have a national contract with equipment and smallwares. So we send Brad the blueprints, and you sign the deal with him, and your equipment and smallware shows up at your restaurant. And that's not how it used to be. You
Right.
know, I remember long days on Webstaurant picking out bowls and sixpence, right? And that's just foolish, but it's everything. And if you looked at us 6 months ago to today, we're completely different, and we'll be different again 6 months from now. We are going to continue to evolve to make your experience as a franchisee that much better. I mean, Taylor, my daughter, who's our training manager,
Taylor's amazing.
she rock star, but she has written the training manual, and it turned out incredible. So you come down to training, you get this binder, you walk through this binder, you can open your restaurant. She didn't like it. She's completely redoing the whole thing. And it's like every time she takes a new college class, she's tweaking it. And it's all about, you know, the process of how adults learn and video and whatever. So we're doing a lot of things that much bigger companies than us do, but you still get the face to face. You dial my phone, I pick it up.
Right.
Right. And that's just how it is. Sorry.
Family interruption. No worries. So you were saying that somebody dials your phone and you actually pick it up. That is the difference between working with a family-led organization, a founder-led organization, versus someone that's grown up into a completely corporate environment, and the founder is no longer there in the day-to-day. It's not a question of bad. A lot of my clientele, when they're looking at franchises, they always ask, well, is it better to work with a founder, or do I want something a lot more established? I said, honestly, it's up to you. You know, you just said, what number franchisee was Jim?
Store open number one.
Yeah, that's what. So he was first store open, and like you said, he's going to notice a big difference between store one and store what number?
By the time he opens, he'll probably be number 25 or 26.
Yeah, store number 25 at 26. But you know what? He took a chance with you, and why? If I had him on the line, why would he tell you he took a chance? He believed.
He believed. I mean, when he came down, I'll tell you right now, when he came down, he flew down from Worcester, Massachusetts, and he got out of this little rental car. And I saw him get out of the car, and I looked at my girls and I said, this guy's never going to work. You know why I said it?
Why?
Jim is 6'10".
Oh, yeah.
Right? Jim is a big dude. He was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
So Jim walks in, He had to bend down to get in my door in Winter Springs. And he comes in and grabs my hand with this big man claw, right? He's the biggest teddy bear I've ever met.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact is that Jim is so successful because Jim just buys into the program,
Yeah.
right? He completely understands what being a franchisee is. And it's not, Jim and I have long conversations and we don't agree on everything, but I listen to his point of view. He listens to my point of view and we come up with an understanding.
Yeah.
So it's a mutual respect and Jim's killing it.
You know that old expression, trust the process?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, there was plenty of people that I talked to that won't trust the process. And I said, well, you have to be, you know, you have to trust the process being a franchisee. And obviously Jim's working on store number 2. So that's absolutely fantastic.
We tell him, Lance, we tell him fall in love with the process and success will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is definitely an amazing model, and so many people are successful because they do trust and they do follow. So what other advice do you have for listeners on franchising? Like, how do they know that they've picked the right franchise?
They're not going to know until I think when they get down for that discovery day, right? Because talking on a phone or video or whatever,
that's a perfect segue. Mark, walk us through your process. So if somebody's interested in Island Fin Poke, what's the process? Obviously, a guy like me, a broker, makes an introduction, and one of your team, more than likely Cliff or Justin's going to have that first call, right?
Yep, exactly.
Take it from there.
It's all mapped out. I mean, I don't even meet people for 30 or 45 days. I mean, and it's webinars and going through financials and getting pre-approved from the SBA and all of this stuff. And then we have a founder's call. And the founder's call is just 45 minutes to an hour of you and me on the phone and really just getting to know each other. Really, I mean, for me, I know what I can say and what I can't say. And I'm an open book, right? Because I want you to go into the deal eyes wide open. I don't want it to be 6 months from now. Well, damn, Mark, I wish you'd have told me whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And then if that goes
wish you would have told me I had to work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. That's another story. But it's it's really getting them down here for the discovery day and letting them see the Lake Nona restaurant and having the full-on Island Fin experience and tasting the food. And they meet the team. They meet CJ from CBRE who does real estate. They meet Chris from Yellow Brick Construction to talk about architect and construction. They spend time with Taylor. They spend time with me. They spend time with Chris, who's our franchise business coach, who works between me and the franchise community. And it's a good, 6-hour day. And I promise you, they're in here on a Friday. They're going to meet a bunch of regular guests, and they're going to get a real taste of what Island Fin is about. So.
Right. And so typically, what is that time frame from the first introduction to when they officially can commit? Is it as quick as 6 weeks, as long as 2.5 months?
Here, the last deal we signed was in the Villages, 30 days.
Wow.
These guys 100% knew they were buying a franchise. And from the time Cliff got introduced till the time they signed their deal, 30 days. Now, normally our deal speed is actually pretty fast, and it's anywhere from 45 to 80 days, and somewhere in there. And, some of it is cyclical. It's time of year. Are your kids in school? Are you going on vacation? But it's really kind of funny because even with COVID, the people that are looking right now are seriously looking. They're
right.
not scared. It's not, oh my God, it's a restaurant. The people that are looking are buying.
Absolutely. People were home long enough that they thought, I don't want to do X for the rest of my life. Yeah. It's time for me to get on the field and find something for myself and my family. So let me ask you, who are the ideal franchisees for you? Are a percentage of these folks coming from the restaurant business? Do any of them have prior restaurant experience?
I think of all of we have 41 sold, and I think we have 2 people that have prior restaurant experience.
Oh, that's it. Just 2. Yeah.
Jim was 20 plus years at Staples. So it's just not rocket science, Lance.
Yep.
You know, it's all about you're entertaining guests in your home,
Right.
right? How do you behave when you have a cookout at your house, right?
Absolutely.
So it's just simple. I mean, I have 17 and 18-year-old kids making all my house-made sauces, not chefs and sous chefs.
So what is your secret sauce, if you will, to finding great staff, great team members? Because
I think that,
you know, we all know that it was never easy in the restaurant business, but it got a little more difficult during the pandemic, and here we are. So you know, give me your secrets.
dude, I feel bad for all of my restaurant friends, right? But for us, you know, the old saying, you know, hire the smile and train the skill, or hire the attitude and train the skill. Well, most normal restaurants can't do that, because you got to have some kind of skill to be a server, a bartender, a grill cook, a fry cook, etc. Well, at Island Fin, when you come in for training, we give you 2 sheets. It's the necessary menu knowledge, which talks about, you know, a few of our unique ingredients, and it's our sauce list.
Yep.
All we ask you to do is to memorize those 2 sheets. Other than that, do you have an easy smile? And what I mean by an easy smile is when someone hits that front door, when you make eye contact with them, do you smile? Because if it's fake or forced, and this is mask or no mask, because you know when someone's smiling behind the mask, right? So for us, our restaurants, it's 16 and 17-year-old kids at night. It's legitimately sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school. During the daytime, I got a couple of college kids. That's what we have working for us. We don't need, you know, someone that's got 10 years of bartending experience.
Right.
So we legitimately created, we're a great starter job, right? It's easy. We close at 9, you're out at 9:15. You don't have to take a shower because you smell like French fries. You can change your clothes and go out with your friends. It's early enough to do your homework, but these kids also make good money.
Right.
So
that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So what's on the horizon? What are the hot territories for you that you'd like to fill up? What areas, cities, states?
For me, I really want to focus. We need to do some more selling in Texas. We have 4 sold in Houston, and I really want to break into Dallas. I think it'd be a great market for us.
Awesome.
Georgia, we will open Peachtree City. I really want to break into Atlanta, but I really want to find some franchisees in Michigan, because that's where I'm from, and it'd be a great excuse for me to go home, one, but you know, getting to show off how cool Island Fin is to, you know, everybody I know in Michigan.
I love it. My brother and a lot of family members went to University of Michigan, but I like Michigan State because of you.
I like where your head's at.
Well, any final words for today, words of wisdom before we go?
No, I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time with me, Lance. And,
You
you know,
got it.
if people have, you know, questions or comments or whatever, feel free to reach out. I mean, legitimately, I'm an open book.
We'll make that connection. Well, Mark, it's been my pleasure and my honor to have you on, and I look forward to round 2 as we continue this conversation. You have an awesome day, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Lance. I appreciate you reaching out. Yep, bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for listening today. Please like, follow, and subscribe. This is Lance Graulich. Until next time.